Hello, and welcome to The Content Bite, a podcast for freelancers who use their words to make money. I'm Rachel Smith, a freelance journalist, copywriter, and content producer. I'm also the founder of Rachel's List, a jobs board and community for Australian writers and other creatives.
And I'm Lynne Testoni. I'm a journalist and content writer as well. Rachel and I are your weekly co-hosts, and every week we bring you all kinds of tips, tricks, and some fabulous guests to help you make the most of your freelance business. So, Rach, I'm a firm believer in using your strengths. I started my business because I love words, and our sponsor, Rounded, helps me handle the numbers because it's an easy invoicing and accounting system.
Yeah, I use it as well. You can make data-driven decisions about your rates, which clients to prioritize, and I love the gamification of it all.
You love gamification.
I do. I love how you can set what you want to earn that month and see it go up. It's great.
Yeah. And I think it's really good because the rounded reports are great for creative professionals. And I think that I love the fact that my accountant can go in and have a look at my numbers before we have those conversations at the end of each quarter. I think that's really helpful.
And don't forget, if you're a Rachel's List Gold member, you get 20% off the annual rounded subscription. And that is every year, not just as a one-off.
And the details are in the show notes.
Yep.
Hi, Rach. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, good. And this week we've got such a great topic because I'm really pleased we're going to talk about customer retention this week. I think we know that it's so much easier to keep your existing clients rather than constantly hustle for new ones. What do you reckon?
I definitely have lots of new ones coming in, but I have, regular anchor clients. And I think I've had one for more than 20 years, which is amazing. Because at that point, you know that person's business so well. You might not be on staff, but you just know every nuance of their business, their goals, and all of that. So yeah, I agree. I think the more clients you can keep that are long-standing clients, it's really important. And I think we forget about that. We forget that retaining customers and retaining clients, is something we could all be doing better.
Absolutely, you're so right. Because my biggest client is one I've had for the whole 10 years. I've been freelancing, and that work is great to do because I know them well, I understand their market. So this week's guest is a specialist in all things customer delight and retention, as she says. So how about you introduce her and get her into the hot seat?
Yes, I'd love to. We're talking to Nadine Nethery today. She's an audience-driven copywriter turned customer experience and retention strategist for online business owners who want to attract, retain, and wow their dream customers. Over the past 8 years, Nadine has given hundreds of industry disrupting online business owners the words to shine and the strategies to build a sustainable audience-centered business. And she's on a mission to make mediocre brand experiences a thing of the past. Welcome, Nadine. We're in that with you.
Yay.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me on the show, Lynn and Rachel. So good to be here to talk
Pleasure.
about one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you and I met through Kirsty Fanton, which is very exciting. And then I got onto your newsletters and listening to your podcast. So I'm a huge fan of what you do.
Oh,
Yeah, tell us a bit about your career journey and how you got into customer retention and all of that.
absolutely. So I originally, like so many freelance writers, come from the corporate world. I worked in corporate comms and marketing for, God, close to 2 decades. Shows my age, but worked in corporate comms, PR, traveled the world, selling fancy cars to journalists and people, finding winning angles and points of difference and all those things. Then again, like so many women, unfortunately got made redundant on mat leave with my second baby. He was 3 months old at the time. It totally crushed my world because not only had I just lost the role that I really was planning to come back into. It was all signed off, but it really shook my world, and the hormones probably didn't help at the time, but it really made me doubt, was it me? Is it my skills?
Yeah.
But really looking back, I'm so grateful that this incident happened. While it was hard at the time, it really, made me consider my options and look at what I'm really good at, what I want to bring to the world. Sounds corny, but how I can have more impact beyond being a number in the corporate system. And via a few detours going back into corporate employment for another major corporate organizations, I started my side hustle as a copywriter. Back then, I was doing all the things for anyone. Again, you need to start somewhere.
Yep.
So I was doing social media copy, content marketing, but I really loved the writing component and helping. Majority of them were women really on a very similar path to me, helping them share their genius with the world and bring their passion to life. And like you were saying, in our pre-chat, so many of those clients are still with me today, like in different capacity, but it's such a beautiful long-term relationship that we have. And so nowadays I still support my clients with copy. I primarily serve service providers, membership site owners, course creators, so really online business in general, but more on a holistic level. So still copywriting, but how it fits into the bigger picture. So what comes before and after the particular copy that I write for my clients. And I just love it because it goes so deep, it's so holistic, and it helps my clients step away from that constant need to sell, because like there's that pressure. You have to sell because you're a business, you have to earn a living, but there really is such a different way to approach things. Like you don't have to constantly push a hard sell. And what I love to do is help my clients realize how they can, automate that process to a certain extent, so it's selling in the background without them having to do the heavy lifting all the time. And they can just get on with running their business and, build those lasting relationships rather than
taking away the hustle, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
A lot of people listening will be very excited about that idea.
So I know you run a business called the Retention Lab, and that trains online business owners about how to retain and delight customers. How did that come about, and how does that work?
Yeah, so a Retention Lab is my newish membership. It's really evolved from a membership I had previously. So coming from originally the copywriting background, I helped clients with copy critiques and audits on a monthly basis. So that's how the membership started. But then as I was falling more in love with the customer experience side of things, I've done courses, I'm semi-obsessed with it since then. I really noticed that I was shortchanging my customers and my members. So in May, Retention Lab was launched as that evolution of the original membership, and really supports people nowadays with formulas, I like to call them. So proven things that are working in my business to retain my customers and create remarkable customer experiences. They're bite-sized snippets, bite-sized things, because we're all busy, right? A lot of us are one people shows. So they fit into the monthly routine, and you just chip away at your own powerful retention system to help you gradually step away from that constant sales cycle. And it now comes with 2 levels. So still that high level support where I audit customer journeys, for example, and I review copy components, but also a lower level tier where people can come in just for the formulas. They can DIY. They still get access to me to ask questions, but it's for those people who just want to chip away in their own time and space.
That's really interesting, I think, because obviously I have a membership as well as my own business. And I think, getting that second set of eyes on things because you are doing all the things, you're wearing all the hats, you're being the email marketer and, all those different components of running a business, and having a second set of eyes on, perhaps where you might be falling down a little bit would be really useful, I think.
Absolutely. It's that, as you said, objective perspective, as in, have you considered this? And often people go, oh, no, I haven't. But this is so cool. So, it's so valuable.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start by talking about why you need to work on customer retention. What's the big thing to start with?
It's hard to explain. I feel retention gets such a bad rap because the focus is so much on that lead generation and growing your list. But customer retention is so important because if you're starting with a leaky bucket because, you have no system in place to turn browsers into customers and customers into loyal fans. Then pouring more water and more new leads into that bucket won't fix things. So retention really, if done properly, and if you have a system in place that takes care of that strategically, not only takes care of that lead generation strategy, because existing customers are talking to their friends, they're bringing in fresh leads for you. It also takes care of your sales strategy because you have all those beautiful connections happening that organically introduce the next step. But it also becomes your reputation strategy. Because again, if you create this standout experience where people feel like you genuinely care, they can't wait to hear what you have to say, what you're sending in your next email, your reputation automatically is elevated and people can't wait to drop your name in all the right places, as in, check out Rachel. Like, she sends the best emails, she's got the best surprises. So reputation is your long-term sustainable business strategy from my point of view. You can speak on all the stages and participate in all the virtual summits and bundles and all the things that are out there. But if you're not attracting the right people to begin with, and then really don't support them to stay engaged, it's all just leading to burnout long term because you feel like you're stretching yourself too thin. So in my instance, how I really caught on to this, which might be valuable for your listeners here, is I'm a huge data nerd. So I love my email stats, and I'm with Drip personally, and the analytics side of things is just so powerful. You can filter by last engagement, last purchase, time between purchases. It's just so powerful. And so I started digging one day, and I actually have the stats here. I looked up the most recent ones before the call. So currently 66% of my email subscribers have purchased from me, whether that's one-on-one, they're part of my membership, or a digital product. So I have a few DIY toolkits and resources. So 66% of people on my list have bought from me in some capacity.
Wow.
40% of those bought a second time. 52% of those repeat buyers bought a third time. And 65% of those third-time buyers bought a fourth time. And it continues like that. So the more people experience my teaching style and how I deliver my work, the more likely they are to buy again. So it's just such a powerful, mindset shift and perspective shift in your business. Why not focus on the people who already said yes in your business? Give them what they need. Really pay attention to the signals that they're sending you, and then use that as your, sales engine, and let them organically map their own path through your offer suite, whether that's one-on-one. I'm sure, if you're working one-on-one, you have different offer types that you can then organically present at the right opportunity. Same for courses. There's products that organically fit together. So you just have to help those people connect the dots.
So interesting.
Wow. I'd love to just, zoom out a bit to a big picture. If you're looking at retaining customers or clients as a freelancer, what would be the key things that you think you need to have in place? Like a freelancer who, has copywriting clients or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Retention, just as a precursor here, is not rocket science. It sounds so scientific. It really relies on the most underrated sales channel, as I like to say, which is your customer experience. It's really a mindset that needs to be embedded in how you approach every client project. So what it comes down to at the core is being a genuine partner, then a transaction. So being emotionally invested in your clients' results as much as they are, and totally getting that across. So infusing, little personal touches at all the right times. So I, for example, love Bonjour personal video messages. Takes a little bit of time, a minute here or there, but it's just surprisingly still so uncommon. So Bonjour is, allows you to send personal videos and talking about client retention here even, before jumping on a discovery call with people, I sent them a video and they're basically sold before I'd even jump on the call, because they've built that personal connection. But also if they've reached out to 10 other people, because, you're comparing, you're shopping on price, you're having a look what's out there, you automatically stand out.
Yeah.
And you can apply that same concept to customer retention as well. So what I do is, as a copywriter again, so once my copy is actually out in the wild, that website is out, has been launched, I send them, again, a personal video message to just congratulate them after I've checked it out, tell them how amazing it is. It's the little touches that just show that, it's nice to be paid for what you do, but you're actually cheering them on. You're their cheese squad beyond that project. Second point sort of touches on that as well. So don't ghost them once you hand it over that deliverable. So, every project comes to an official end, but I, again, have processes in place that help me check in at very specific times after that deliverable. And then long term, thinking about that next project, the next sale, working with them again, it really comes down to anticipating their needs and being that one step ahead. So thinking about, if someone worked with you, in my instance, for example, on that first website project, likelihood is that their lead magnets aren't in place. They might need email funnels. So how can you plant that seed in that next conversation to just open up, opportunities and present yourself as someone who can support them long term?
So with all this, it sounds really interesting. Do you think email marketing is a really important part of that? Because it seems to me that's a great way of managing that customer journey throughout. And do you see, is that what you use, that sort of email marketing strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So I add people, so clients who I've worked with, to my email list. I give them a heads up, so I don't do the dodgy.
Yes.
I just tell them that's what's happened. You're not on my general email list. You're welcome to opt out, but I think, having worked together, there's valuable stuff for you. So I try to add them into my regular programming, in inverted commas.
Yes.
And then how I handle it. So I'm very much a bespoke email marketer, so I don't blast the same things to everyone on my list. So I pay really close attention to how people are interacting with my content. So in Drip, it's called trigger links. Kit, Active Campaign, they all have very similar features, but they're basically links with hidden superpowers. So people don't know what's happening, but let's say you are talking about a certain offer, someone clicks on that link, checks out the sales page. On the back end in my system, I tag people as, interested. I can do all sorts of things. I can add them to funnels. I can add custom fields. So there's endless opportunities, but how I like to handle it with my key offers, also my membership, for example. So if I organically talk about it in an email, people click on that link, I then add them to nurture funnels.
Yeah.
They're all non-salesy. Like there's never a hard push, but they are helping to bust objections, false beliefs. So they're really priming people to this particular product. While I add them to that funnel, I remove them from regular programming. So it's hyper.
So they're not getting double versions.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So there's, again, clever tagging happening. They're removed from regular programming. And based on which offer they've shown an interest in, I then also create excuses for one-on-one interactions. So for example, in my done for you nurture flow, where it's all about working with me one-on-one, people can get a taste for my strategy. For example, they can send me a piece of content for my feedback. So again, it's creating those opportunities where they interact with me one-on-one. There's a conversation and there's an organic opportunity to invite them on a call or tell them this is how I can help them do X, Y, Z, as part of this product. So it's being strategic, bespoke, and also really paying attention to, the signals they're sending you.
Oh, wow. I think it's really tricky. I struggle with mapping out customer journeys on email and tagging them. So it sounds to me like so much of it is about the tagging. Are there any easy ways to keep track of tag groups and the email journeys? How do you do that?
Yeah, so I have tags called, like product XYZ interested, for example. So if someone clicks on this particular trigger link, they're added to the funnel. So I know they're interested in this particular product, that tag stays with them unless they're buying the product as part of this funnel. But in future, then that allows me to target them with specific things. I also allow people, I should say, to, for example, opt out of offers. So if I am launching something like my membership in late May, for example, every email they had the option to opt out of future emails, which some people took me up on. The good thing is it reduces your unsubscribe rate, and you can just remove people from emails about this particular product for the next few months until they're potentially in a different
clicking
place.
again.
Yeah, and you can plant that seed again. I know it's hard to keep track. It feels like it's worth sitting down and coming up with a system that allows you to then really segment people, potentially based on DIY or your different offer types. That could be another segmentation strategy. There's all sorts of approaches, but I'm a huge fan of automating. Mum of three, as I said, I don't have time to constantly launch and sell and pitch myself. So yeah, I heavily rely on evergreen sequences and the right email at the right time.
Yeah.
Wow. And I would love to know, when you're planning out your email marketing journeys, are you doing that like on Word, or have you got a big whiteboard and you're just planning out how it's all going to go, and then you write all the emails for that and plug it in to your program? I forget which one it is.
Yeah, Drip. It's Drip. I actually love to repurpose things. So usually every product I sell, so course or even, one-on-one offer, I launch in inverted commas, live once. So I know which emails really resonated, which emails work to treat. And then usually 2 odd months after the launch, when I know the data, I've got some fresh testimonials, some fresh feedback, some snippets from my intake survey, for example, that I can repurpose. I then, just go in and repurpose, slightly tweak those emails, because again, why start from scratch when some really hit the core?
Yeah.
So that's how I usually do it. So, and again, it's not like locking yourself into a room for 4 hours, every day and doing it all at once. It's baby steps. So I usually, just take one product, chip away at it. And it's something that's never complete as well. That's what I preach inside Retention Lab. So it's about, implementing something, letting it collect data. So a few months down the track, you go in, have a look what worked, what didn't work, then you refine and you repeat the process. So it's long-term and it's never done. Plus you always get new testimonials and case studies that you can repurpose as well. So I'm a huge fan of actually tweaking things on the go, and I pay close attention to things, conversations I'm having, and check with people. This is awesome. Like, do you mind if I use this in my marketing? And people often are totally happy. So I just grab a screenshot, update it in the moment, or I add it to my running, to-do list. So if I'm in the middle of a client project, have no time, I've got this running to-do list of things I want to get to. So I just add it in there, and when I have a moment, I get to it.
Interesting.
So interesting. What about following up? I mean, I guess that's, I think, a fear of a lot of freelancers or a lot of writers, that they're worried about being too pushy. How often do you follow up? And is it just about sort of nudging, keeping top of mind, or is it a bit more, are you trying to get a call to action in there?
Yeah, I'm rather strategic about everything in my business.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, it helps. I have a project management system, which is Dapsado. So my workflows are pretty watertight. So I have key moments that matter built into my offboarding flows. So first time you obviously check in is when you hand over the deliverable, right?
Yeah.
And when people are happy, I have an offboarding survey. So that's where I sort of plant the seed for that next project. There's a question in there that asks them, how can you picture us collaborating again in the future? And whatever they add in there, I make note of it. So if they're saying, I'm launching in Q4, there might be something there. So I then add a task to my offboarding workflow, make sure around that time I just pop up recapping this particular conversation, which again isn't sleazy. It's just showing you actually paid attention to.
That's very clever.
What they told you. And that often opens up the conversation. Even if nothing eventuate. It again gets you front of mind, shows that you care, and they go, that's so cool. She, like we haven't worked together in months, but she's here.
Yeah.
So that's one strategic point. Then when the deliverable is out in the wild, so as I said before, I send personal video messages when a website launches, when their, sales page is out there. So just showing up to cheer them on. When their deliverable, so the copy had some time to capture data. So I love case studies. And so it's somewhat selfish, somewhat planting the seed, but it's checking in on some tangible results they've got. So, for example, how has the copy impacted your conversion rates, or how many leads you've landed? And again, there's a question there, is there anything I can help you with right now? Then when else? Milestones, really. So when it's been a year since their website launched. So again, cheer squad, there's no big ask in there. I just like to stay front of mind. What I also like to do, again, there's nothing really in it for me, but I'm an organic matchmaker. So I love connecting clients of mine. So
yes, I do that too.
How fun is
it?
It
is.
It's so
great.
good when I talk to someone.
And it also keeps you top of mind in a nice proactive way, doesn't it? Like connecting people.
Yeah. And it's again going above and beyond. It's something you don't have to do. It's not part of your project, but I just love seeing those projects come to life. So I had back in my days when I was doing more e-com work, I had an artist from Bathurst. I wrote her website copy. Like her work's beautiful. And she collaborated with a candle maker who uses artist pieces to for the artwork on the labels, and they collaborated, and I was just cheering on from the sideline. So it's just so cool to make those organic introductions as, again, just this value add that eventuates. And a fun project I worked on last year, the year before, I'm losing track, it's 2025, a while ago, is a private case study podcast. Again, sort of selfishly designed, but it also helps my clients. So I gathered a dozen odd past clients. So some of them I had worked with one-on-one. Some of them had taken, my courses were in my memberships, to recount what it was like working with me, some of that thought process that goes into outsourcing, which was sort of the angle people then sign up for on my website. But that obviously helps me put people at ease to work with me, but it also allowed my clients to plug their offer, their courses, they could talk about their businesses, and they were more than happy to participate. So there are so many creative ways to check in a semi-selfish way, but also to support the clients on an ongoing basis. And I feel like just being a bit different is a great starting point. So not doing what everyone else is doing and following the formula, just having a think about how uniquely, what unique ways you have in your repertoire to support your clients on an ongoing basis.
It's a real personal touch, isn't it? And I think that's what makes a difference, having that personal sort of angle, and it makes it sort of less pushy, doesn't it? It's just like makes you sound caring, which you are, of course. And is that part of it?
Absolutely. And it's, bespoke to your business. So I obviously pay attention to what other people are doing, but it's not about then copying what others are doing. It's putting your personal spin on how you show up. And then that becomes your signature move, in inverted commas. People know you for that. People recommend you to others for that as well.
I think it's interesting because I have an offboarding questionnaire as well for copywriting clients, for web copywriting clients. But where I struggle is, they haven't got the data yet, because it hasn't, the website might be, my copy might be going to the designer, and so it might be several months before they actually go live. So I almost think you need two offboarding, because I never know, do I send it once the site is live and they're so happy and there's a big buzz and all of that, or do I send one about the copy first and then another one later?
Yeah, that's why I broke it up, because you can still bottle up that initial excitement. If you send those first few questions, you get that initial excitement, and then the data down the track. I think that's the better approach, because, as you said, like, people might like the copy, hopefully. So they resonate with it. They're excited by what they're reading, but there's no proof whether it actually works.
So you have to go back and get that.
Ask
those other questions. Interesting. Yes. Well, I know you have thoughts on referral partner programs too. So how do they work?
Yeah, so that's again part of my offboarding survey. So I don't want to
Hmm.
push myself onto people. Some people, just don't have the audience, don't hang
Yeah.
out in the right circle, so it's irrelevant. But what I do in my offboarding survey is ask a question and introduce the concept of a referral program. So something like, I have my official cheer squad, as I like to call it. Would that be of interest to you? Would you like to find out more? And then if someone clicks yes, again, it's a workflow I trigger inside my Dapsado, which is a manual thing, just tells them a little bit more about it. So personally, I incentivize introductions because it saves me wasting my money to Meta, running ads, doing all the things, being on all the stages. So I much rather reward my clients, and it also means they've got skin in the game. So they're actually more proactive about those opportunities and dropping your name. Because I feel like, everyone says, oh, sure, I'm happy to, share your name. I'm happy to drop your name. But if there's something on the other end of that introduction, it makes it a whole lot more appealing.
Do you think
Interesting.
it's possible to get to a point where you don't have to hustle anymore?
I
$1 million
wish.
question.
I wish. I wish. I don't think so. I think it becomes a lot easier once you have your systems in place. I feel like I'm in a pretty good place in my business. I still speak on stages. I still, put myself out there to get fresh eyeballs onto my offers. But I'm much more strategic about it. So if it's not an all-in yes, if someone pitches me to appear somewhere, if the audience is not aligned, if the timing's not right, if I can't quite see how those people are going to fit into my business and my strategy, then I just decline. But unfortunately, I think, the online space, you just always have to be visible and show up as much as it's probably the most annoying part sometimes.
Mm-mm. Well, for freelancers who might be out there listening and possibly struggling a little bit with getting work or, locking in clients at the moment, what would be your three best no-brainer fixes that they could action today to sort of better retain customers or clients?
Probably starting with that mindset shift. So realizing that the customer journey and the customer experience really just begins once they've hit that buy now button and once they've signed the contract, and that everything that comes from that point is so important to craft that long-term relationship and repeat business. Secondly, daring to be different. So not being scared to experiment, not to be scared to think outside of the box and infuse you, and finding those things that make you intriguing and different and noteworthy. I feel like with AI, ChatGPT, everyone sounds the same. Every email feels the same. Every sales page feels the same. And it feels like creativity is dead because, we're all relying on the same repurposed advice from AI. So what I've been leaning into, which might be, again, some little permission that your listeners need today, is totally fun, interactive bits in my business. So I have an interactive virtual scratchy card that, again, is all automated. So based on behavior, my subscribers receive this surprise and delight thing. So it's actually on your mobile screen. You can reveal it with your finger, and on the screen you scratch it with your mouse, and that then reveals a special surprise depending on how it fits into the bigger picture. I've run website scavenger hunts, for example. So rather than doing a Black Friday sale, I had people interact with my website and find Nadine with Santa hats, little elves hidden. That was really successful. People are still talking about it. I've got a coffee card style, Starbucks coffee card, the loyalty cards. So I'm using that as an engagement strategy in my membership, for example, to get people to actually participate. So again, it all takes a little bit to set up, but then once it's established, it works, and it just is so different and fresh, and people just can't wait to hear what you have to offer next. So I love fun. It makes it fun for me, for my audience. So think outside of the box and totally dare to be different. And it's all about personalization. So if you can personalize how you show up and how you deliver offers to your clients, it automatically makes you stand out. It's like the personal video messages, how you can send them highly relevant emails. It's all about showing that you truly know your people, and it feels like a one-on-one conversation rather than that, weekly Tuesday email blast.
Yeah, no, I can see that really makes a difference. Do you still write copy for clients, or you're more about the coaching and your membership now?
No, I still do one-on-one client work, which I love doing. Love going strategic. So as I said before, it's I'm still writing the copy, but I try to infuse the before and after as well. So there's a lot of strategic thinking around, how to draw people in, how to hook them, how to present them with that next offer as well. But absolutely still do one-on-one client work. And then a lot of my one-on-one clients work with me again on a daily basis. So I have VIP days, which they can just book me as they need, which is, again, important. So I make it easy for clients to just send me an email saying, Nadine, I need this done. Send me your booking link. But still loving it.
That's great, because we're seeing, a lot of, well, I'm seeing it in the Rachel's List Facebook group, a lot of people saying, their client work has dropped off. A lot of their clients are relying on ChatGPT and all of that sort of thing. Are you seeing clients trying to cut corners in ways they didn't before, in ways they relied on you before?
It's definitely shifted, I feel. So where a few years ago, before the big boom of ChatGPT, where a lot of really new businesses would actually invest the money in a copywriter and come to you for that expert help. I feel like they're starting out with AI generated copy because their budget is tight. They probably think they can do a decent job because they don't understand the strategy that goes into it. But on the seasoned business owner side of things, it hasn't really shifted. I think people really still appreciate the strategic lens on
the thinking
copy
that goes into it.
Yeah, so if you as a copywriter can position yourself as a strategist rather than someone who just, give me a list of things you need done and I'll tick them off for you, that's where your magic sauce comes in. So finding your unique angle and perspective that you bring to their copy and focusing on that rather than the to-do list.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, we talked a bit about, I think I mentioned your podcast earlier and how I'm a fan of it. Tell us how it came about.
Yeah. What would they do? That's the name of the podcast. Really was in the making for far too long. I've been sitting on that idea. You know what it's like, the imposter, when you're like, who am I to launch a podcast, really?
Yes.
But I just went all in because I'm so passionate about customer experience, customer retention, and how business owners are just leaving so much money on the table because they're ignoring this huge opportunity. So I personally looked for customer experience podcast, and all that was out there were podcasts, aimed at the big end of town with big budgets, big teams, elaborate tech stacks that no online business owners like, you or I could ever afford. So I wanted to create something that demystifies this whole process, helps break it down into actionable steps that you can take with your existing tech stack. It's practical ideas, action steps, strategies, mindset shifts. Some of those we explored today, but they're bite-sized episodes, and every episode is giving you a snippet you can implement today to, become customer-centric rather than sales-driven.
Love it.
Wow. So is there anything really important to mention about customer retention? I feel we covered a lot so far, but that we haven't asked you. Yes.
I've probably got an exercise for your listeners. So it's something that I have on my Retention Lab sales page as an interactive calculator. So you can actually slide the bars. I'm a huge fan of showing rather than telling because it works so much better. So if you want to check it out, you can jump on the sales page. But basically how it works is it helps you see in real life how retaining customers can positively impact your bottom line. So listeners, so have a think about, so if your customer bought twice a year from you rather than once, so booked you, for, I don't know, day bookings twice a year rather than once, how would that impact your bottom line for the financial year? What would happen if you managed to sell them into a little add-on or another little side product as well every time they buy. And then imagine what would happen to your bottom line if they stayed with you for 3 years rather than 2 years. So it's that compound effect, more frequent buying, spending slightly more and staying with you for longer. It is really a snowball effect that turns your business into that sustainable ecosystem where, you might not be able to step away completely, but it all becomes so much easier because those customers are sticking around. You don't have to show up everywhere and you don't have to constantly run ads, chase new eyeballs, speak on stages. It is such a powerful shift. And I think showing rather than telling, again, works a treat.
Okay, we'll include that in the show notes, a link to that. So we'll get that off you. Just before we go, we love to ask our guests about their tech stack, really, or the tools they'd be lost without. You mentioned Drip and also the video thing that you use. I use Loom, but what's the other one you mentioned?
Bonjoro.
Bonjoro.
Yeah, Bonjoro. There's a few similar products that do the same, but Bonjoro is my preferred one, just makes it so easy. I know a very controversial topic, love pop-up boxes, strategic ones on my website. So for that, I use ConvertBox, which allows you, again, to totally personalize the customer journey. So it links into my email platform, Drip. So I can display very strategic pop-ups based on, the interest, again, they've shown, where they are in a certain funnel. So, love.
That sounds good. Okay. So many interesting tools and everything that you can sort of automate. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I don't think you need a whole ton. It's like if you have the key stack in place.
The right ones.
Yeah, and very important tools that talk to each other. I know you can use Zapier, but again, then that all adds up. So I've tried to look for tools that natively talk to each other. So you can just get around the extra integration tool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Nadine. This has been fascinating, actually.
So good, yeah. I think it makes us sending all the emails after we get off here.
Start thinking and scheming.
Start thinking.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, tell us where our audience can find you and get in touch.
Probably best starting point is my website, candocontent.com. And if you are curious to see some of my little customer delight strategies in action, I've actually created a specific virtual scratchy card for the listeners with a special listener offer. So
cool.
I'll share the sign up link with Lynn and Rachel. So if you sign up, you get one straight to your inbox and you can play around with it.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, we'll pop that into the show notes.
Awesome.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show this week. But thanks to everyone who's listened today and listened to Nadine. If you like the show, leave us a rating and review on the platform where you find your podcasts. And we'll
see everybody again next week.
We will. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again to our wonderful sponsors, Rounded, easy accounting and invoicing software that helps freelancers run their business with confidence.
And don't forget, if you're a gold member of Rachel's list, you can check your welcome emails for an exclusive discount code on the annual subscription rate. You can also find it in the private Facebook Gold group, or just contact us at hello@rachelslist.com.au.